The beauty, power, and elegance of warm blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American stallion station that provides both fresh chilled and frozen semen options with full transparency on semen quality. Set on 800 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality.
When every second counts, the surface matters. Premier Equestrian features Pro-Tex footing product and Auto Sport base mats. Mats absorb up to 40% of the concussion. Pro-Tex provides maximum stability. Premier Equestrian is the official footing partner of Major League Show Jumping. Contact us about your arena at premierequestrian.com.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. Unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse death, and I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
Trusts are a journey for many, and they can have a profound impact on your family. There comes a time when you need additional knowledge, supports, and continuity to protect your family's wealth. Whittier Trust is a state-chartered wealth management company with a proven track record in serving families. Michelle Viancourt having done a brilliant job as always, and fences numbered 1 through 14 on course, 525 meters. That is the length, so we are over half a kilometer in round number 1. With a field of 33 representing 10 nations. And we'll get those 10 nations in just a second. Under FEI rules, International Equestrian Federation rules, altering the height of a fence on course, and that is 4 faults. First refusal is 4 faults.
Well,
second refusal, and that means
welcome
elimination.
to
Time allowed over the 525 meters on course, set at 84 seconds.
For this first week of competition on the grass. Next week, we're over in the stadium, and today it is the Whittier Trust $215,000 5-star Grand Prix. A wonderful day in prospect, and with blue skies up above those wonderful backdrops, stunning mountains. Down to here on this perfectly prepared turf, we are in for a wonderful afternoon of sport. And joining me in a few minutes' time will be Eugenio Garza for our commentary of this big class to conclude the week for the individual riders. We saw a team showdown yesterday, and today, well, we're going to take you through the rundown of who's competing at the 30 or so in today's class going for the big money. And it gets ever closer to the close of competition for the Major League Series, but this Grand Prix and another week to go yet. Here's the first lineup, the first 10 of the 33 that we're going to see in all. Rodrigo Lamre kicks things off with Hubert B. Jacqueline Stephens of Canada and Freaky Bliss. Here's Mexico Grand Prix winners with Antidote de Mars, Natalie Dean, and the very good young 9-year-old Dakota M coming through. And, of course, a man who's been consistently up in the top few in the world, Kent Farrington of the USA, and Orofina looking off to pick another Grand Prix up this season, having got one in Oshawa earlier on this season too. Daniel Cole on great form. But in the meantime, we go to the national anthem. I'm delighted to welcome
Oh,
singing
say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs burning in air, gave proof through the fight that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, thank you to Terry, who's performed in so many top-class musicals, including Follies, and backing singer for Carly Simon before now, joining us for the afternoon. Wonderful way to kick off competition here, and we are almost set to go into this Whittier Trust Grand Prix. Well, all set to go into this Grand Prix class, and Michelle Valancourt, our course designer, here this week. 14 numbered fences on the course in round one. Traditional format in the clears, going forward to a jump-off time allowed of 84 seconds around this course. And triple combination coming up at 6 at 1.55 on the way out there. Very interesting lines all the way through. To talk them through with me through our first view is Mexican rider Eugenio Garza, Mexican Olympian Eugenio Garza. Eugenio, lovely to see you here. Of course, part of Team Helios that just about lead the championship as well at the moment. We're going to put that aside for an afternoon. Eugenio, you've walked the course, had a little look. What's your thoughts?
I think it's a course that's going to require the riders to really ride. You get a lot of options, including from 1 to 2. He sends you straight into a difficult line. You'll see some riders doing 7 or 8 to 2, and then a short 5 to a tall skinny, which he handled very well. And then you got the up in the 4 to that after the wall, and then a steady 8 to the triple, which will be difficult to jump with the major league standards there. And after, like you said, a difficult line, you'll see either 5 or 6 there. I think most of them will do 5, but yeah, he set up a difficult course. So we'll see how they tackle it.
Absolutely. Leading us off is Pan Am medalist Rodrigo Lamre and Hubert B, the 10-year-old Dutch-bred horse by Verdi. Again, some tall verticals coming in at 9 at 1.55 of the butterflies, followed by the Caladay fence at coming up to 160 for that one. And then this last line, it's quite a long line with 14 fences in the course here.
Yeah, long course, and unfortunately he has that one down. I think that's gonna come down a lot. Horses are getting tired at the moment, and then outside on the 7 to 12, and then you got a last line to a big oxer at the end, which I don't think we're not going to see it fall a lot.
It's a wide one at 170, but 155 in height just flicks that one away from that point of view. Your overall thought, having watched that one around for 8 faults?
I think it's a newish horse for Rodrigo. Aaron used to ride it for Lon. It's been winning a lot down in Mexico. Rodrigo rides for the Oñate family, longtime rider, and they've created a good partnership. And I think, couple rails down, but it was an overall good round. Tough to go first in this type of classes.
Absolutely. I mean, you've ridden plenty of these Grand Prix on the Major League Jumping Tour now. They're not giveaways, are they? I mean, we've got a big Grand Prix this week and an even bigger Grand Prix next week.
Yeah, big money next week, but doesn't take away from the fact that this Grand Prix is a real Grand Prix, especially with the lines that the course designer decided to put in. It's a tough course, a lot of options.
For you, let's take a look around with Alberto Mlsj and Nabal de Trevera for the twice Olympic rider as well, based these days over here on the west coast of the US as well. Alberto, who rides for the Roadrunners team, local team here, but internationally for Israel. First few here, as you say, you know, there's a lot to get your teeth into early on.
Yeah, definitely. The first line, I think he did 8, but I think we're going to do a lot. We're going to see a lot of 7s. But it's just depending on how your horse rides. I think if you can get him back after doing the 7 to the 5 short, then I think we'll see riders start to do 7. But it's just preference and see what the horse's best suits your horse.
And having watched Rodrigo round first, time-wise, 84 seconds there. He was 79.36, so there's some breathing room in there.
Yeah, I think so. But Rodrigo's a fast rider. I rarely see him have time fault, so we'll see.
A lot of top 9 there, prime example, some tall verticals in there that are really you're gonna have to sit back off.
Tall verticals and a tricky distance in between. It's a 5 long.
Yeah.
So either you risk the first one or you risk the second one. So difficult.
5 long. It's 5 short. I mean, rather 6 short.
I don't think we're not going to see 6. I think definitely some riders will do 6. I know my teammate Ashley, she was walking in and she mentioned that she was going to do 6.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. It's a total of 20 there for Alberto Mlsj and Nabal de Trevera on the 12-year-old there. A few of those verticals coming into play, unfortunately, but latter part 3 of those in the final 3 fences. Again, becomes a little bit of a test of stamina from that point of view. 14 fences on here. Again, you almost get to sort of 11 and feel like that's it, but there's another loop and quite a bit more to do yet.
Yeah, but and the ring is big. I mean, it's a very long ring, and he uses all of it from end to end. So you travel a lot. I'm sure the horses at the end are starting to feel tired somewhat.
But also on the flip side of it, how good do they feel off this turf?
It's an amazing footing. It looks like a golf course. But and they're jumping great off it. It really is a fantastic grass field.
Well, it is on to Jacqueline Stephens-Daly now, and Freaky for the 12-year-old from the Eye Candy team. Jacqueline, who's been riding for Canada this season as well, been a key part of the Eye Candy squad. Your big rivals, team-wise, for Team Helios. I can touch on that for 1 second there. You've got a big battle next week as a team from that point of view. Jacqueline's really, established herself well into these big classes now. She came up well through the 2 stars last couple of seasons, and now well into this 5-star. Just has that rail down there. But I think what we're seeing here as well, it's going to be a lot of rails well spread.
Yeah, they seem to be falling all over the place, and Jacqueline, she's a great rider, like you said. Eye Candy member, so definitely in a lock battle for next week, but we'll see how that goes. And Freaky's such a nice horse. We've seen him jump round and round, good round after good round, and they're a great partnership. And it's common to see them tackle a course like this in a good result.
Yeah. On the 8 at the moment for Jacqueline Stephens-Daly. As I say, you sort of almost feel that the way that came down there, do you just sort of get carried down that end of the rink? It's just a natural place to go, and that can just leave you to catch one.
Yeah, definitely. I also think that the line itself is you got to ride it a little bit on the bend, and I think Freaky covered a little bit more ground than she was expecting, and just got a little bit too deep there. But like I said, it's a difficult course. I think when I walked it, it's big enough, but it's very technical from start to finish. He doesn't let you breathe 1 second.
Finishing on 12 there, it's 80.19 for combination of Jacqueline Stephens-Daly and Freaky. So an 8, 12 and a 20 so far in the early stages here. And up to one of your teammates, which is Bliss Here's Antidote Damas from Las Vegas, Nevada. The Bridgeside Farms 12-year-old here by Demont de Semi. Grand Prix winners in, of course, San Miguel a few weeks ago as well. Been close in a few others too. Lovely combination. Now, I mean, he's a smaller horse, but does generally cover quite a bit of ground as well.
Antidote is, to me, one of the best horses in the world, and,
Yeah.
and Bliss rides him brilliantly. They're a great partnership. I'm excited to see what they do here, but I didn't talk to her about what her plan was, so I'm looking forward to see what she does, whether she adds or not. But like you said, he does cover a lot of ground, even though he's a compact stallion.
Yeah.
That was 8 from 1 to 2, so.
Tricky little vertical going up towards the in-gate there at the palm trees. Off the wall and just getting the engine going down there then.
If they back up a little from the wall, those just got a little bit long.
Yeah.
A to B.
But again, middle part of there with the ox there, we saw Jacqueline Steffens had a similar thing. They just backed off it a bit, and then it's a very long way across there.
I have to say, we keep seeing those major league standards, and I don't know if it's the color or what exactly it is, but this horses seem to back off from that jump a little bit. Maybe there was something that Antidote saw, but you know, all in all, I think we covered very well, and I think we saw her do 6 there between the verticals.
Just on the 4 so far. We'll clear the last okay. Going to be at 79.87. So just on the 4th, Bliss here is an Antidote de Mars. But again, showing it's not easy running, but well over the wall, no trouble at all. But this is the triple combination, and just tries to reach.
A bit long, no?
Yeah.
Good rail for next week for the team class.
Well, you've got a lot to think about with the team class. 3 points difference.
It's going to be interesting.
Eye candy team, yeah.
But I got faith in my team.
You
Unfortunately, won't be able to be with them in the ring, but I got faith.
It's a team effort, though. That's
It
the
is a
point. The
team
people on
effort.
the floor are just as important sometimes.
We got 3 good combinations next week, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
I'm not going to ask you just because I don't want to reveal too much for who's going to be on the team next week. We'll keep that under wraps. Natalie Dean now and Kota M for the Marigold Sport Horses of Palo Alto, California. The 9-year-old by Toulon for Natalie. Again, she went very well in the teams yesterday. She's well established now. Chance Mel having jumped in World Cups on to Nations Cups as well, her top ride them. But this is a really nice one that we've been watching the last few weeks, really coming through.
I think this is one of the horses that if you had me choose which one I could ride, I'd love to ride this one. Looks like such a gamey, nice horse, balanced, hot, you know. Really nice horse and only 9 years old, so I think the future is bright for this one. And Natalie rides him great, and Alon is right there with him. I think they've done a great job with this horse.
And again, a little like Antidote, not the biggest horse in the world.
But covers the ground easily. He got down the 4 strides very easy. We'll see if A to B. Very nice.
Yeah, very well through there, down to this Cabana Coast. Oxa comes down on the 7 there. Then you go back along the edge of the arena. They seem to be getting inside that time allowed without any trouble at all. That's not putting the extra pressure on as well at the moment. You say you just got to get you've got to get really want the 5 forward strides down there. So you're going to want some impulsion, which is then potentially going to catch you at the butterfly vertical.
Yeah, the 5 almost needs to end up looking like the 6th, the last stride, which is hard to do because it's a flat and you got the big triple bar, which pulls you into the 7. But shame 2 rails coming down, but overall, it's a very nice round.
Yeah, good stuff. Looking forward to seeing more of that combination together. Natalie Dean and Okota into 3rd place so far. On the 8 faults, 80.71. The double, the golden double, when that was in a different place for the winning round class a little bit earlier on, they were just tending to get underneath that a little bit as well.
I actually didn't see the winning round, but I heard it was very tough.
It was tough.
It was tough. And that double is tough with the colors, and it's 10-foot rails, so it looks fairly tall compared to the other ones. So I'm sure we're going to see a couple more rails in that double.
Erin Davis Heineken now, NKH Cento Blue, the 12-year-old Oldenburg for Erin, previous Grand Prix winner in the likes of Florida, back onto the teams in the latter part of the season of the year for Major League Jumping from Fort Worth in Texas. Erin just been getting back into the groove. These last few shows have been jumping these big classes. Again, he's been a little bit, and he used the class, the winning round class a little bit earlier on to use that fence with. She's just going to pull up, but the palm trees there with the green pole, and I was talking that's a little bit of a mean move on a grass arena because, okay, the yellow poles you can
Depth
focus on.
perception,
Depth perception, exactly. Because the yellow, I guess, then sort of puts you in, they see one thing, and then the green is harder to see.
Yeah, and my first impression when I walked the course, I mean, having a tall skinny at number 3 is fairly early. And it's all connected. It's not like you have a place to set it up. So he's dropped you straight into a half stride line to a very short 5 strides to a tall skinny. So definitely a challenge, and I think she just saved it for another day. They had such a good tour down in Mexico.
Yeah, absolutely. So Erin Davis Heineken elected to retire there with NKH Cento Blue. Let's remind you the scores so far. Bliss Hears and Antonio Mars on the 4, Rodrigo Lamre on the 8, Natalie Dean on the 8, Jacqueline Steffens on the 12, Alberto Mission on the 20. Erin electing to retire there. We've got a good few coming up, the likes of Kent Farrington, Daniel Coyle with the lovely Legacy as well. We're going to see some big combinations here, I think. Kyle King, I'm just going to point out in there in chess as well. I think he could be one to just pop out of the pack.
Yeah, Kyle's fast. He beat us both meter 50 classes in Mexico, and he almost had the Grand Prix. So he's a big name. Can't count out Kent Farrington with Orafina, Daniel Coyle. I mean, those guys are fast, quick, good riders. So.
And your teammate, as we look at a little bit further down the list, Ashley Bond, Garfield. New ride for her, but looks really nice from what we've seen this week. I don't know whether you've had a chance to see that one yet.
Yeah, I did actually. Very nice horse. Newer ride for her. She's very excited for it. And Ashley's just one of those riders that has the innate ability to pick up a horse and learn it in a couple weeks, where other rides would take months. So.
Alexis Sokolov and Kelsiet EBZ for the 21-year-old rider on this 9-year-old by Kornet Obolensky. Again, some really nice rounds earlier on this week, jumped some super clear rounds, and has really built through, trains with Connor Swale. And it'll be interesting to see coming here should be coming in here with confidence after some good results this week. But again, sitting on a 9-year-old, young rider as well, this will be good experience for them, if nothing else.
Good results this week and good results in Mexico as well.
Yeah.
The previous tour, I think she jumped very well down the Grand Prix there, tough Grand Prix. So.
Good down through the Cabana Coast so far. So she's jumped some terrific rounds so far this week. Ooh, gets really nice shot over the triple bar. And he's given you a bit of space between the triple bar and getting to that vertical. Just holding down there.
It's nice
worked.
down to 6.
Yeah.
Balanced him up. Horse is jumping great. She's riding great.
Really putting a very good round together so far.
Time?
I'm just looking at time, but
I think
she's going to be okay, actually. It's going to be a little bit close. Going to be very close.
She has to go.
Just keep squeezing. No, 84.12, but it was a lovely round,
Great
finishing
round.
with just one time full there.
Yeah, super round. Connor's got her riding really well, and just lovely horse also.
And the thing is there, I mean, she was very deliberate in the execution of some of that. And again, with a younger rider in there and a less experienced horse, I mean, that was sensible to do. It was just going to cost her on time in the end.
And, I mean, she's been doing these classes consistently now with this horse, jumping very well, very, positive round after round. Not surprised to see that very well.
Well, gets the best score so far, Alexis Sokolov on the one-time fault there on 84.12 with Calciet EBZ. So just unfortunately finished on the one time, but a nice round nonetheless. $217,200 Whittier Trust Grand Prix here this afternoon under the blue skies of California.
So what do you say, Stephen? First clear round coming up with Kent?
Could be. You got Kent Farrington coming up with Daniel Coyle coming up, and yeah, I would be having a little look in that direction. You've got Legacy with Daniel Coyle, of course, that jumped through to the World Championships and winner in the Grand Prix in Rotterdam this year. Kent Farrington, Grand Prix winner with Orofina back into Wellington, and of course he had that Grand Prix win in Ottawa as well. That's gone really well for him so far this season. So Kent just on his way, and again would be a man you would hope to handle this type of track. It's going to be really interesting to see how this pair deal with this.
I agree. I think it's going to be interesting, and the mare has been jumping great, so we'll see what Kent does.
So Alexis Sokolov going close with Calcia to EBZ. Just has a little look at the wall with Orofina there for Kent Farrington. Kent, of course, with a terrific record, everything from Olympic silver through to Aachen Grand Prix winner. I say winner on the tour for Major League Jumping so far this season as well. On this 10-year-old by full fashion, of course, the terrific horses that he's had now. The next generation very much coming through. So Kent Farrington to take us on a tour of this course designed by Michel Valancourt this afternoon. Again, he was confident of that.
The mare is so careful. I think when Kent, I think it fits Kent's riding style. Good effort there over the Oxer, and here the first test coming up for her, Scopy. Ooh, just was a bit long.
Yeah,
just
just reaches for it, and just unfortunately has that fence down. Just a little bit unsettled there coming in there, and I think Kent is not sure what he's going to do. He's obviously pulled out the next line. May just go and pop a fence and decide to retire. We'll see what his plan is, but I think that's the way he's coming. Yeah, he's going to just go and jump a fence. That's a shame, because that was a big combination. I thought might do something here. Just not quite settled, just not quite happening today.
Yeah, and Kent's a very smart rider. He knows that, she hit that rail pretty hard, and maybe it's best to save for another day. I think she's a horse for the future for Kent, and he's banking on it. So
exactly.
Not the last time we're going to see her.
No, it's not. And I would think a big week for her coming up next week as well, with that Grand Prix on to the Saturday night class. Daniel Coyle now, and Legacy, the 12-year-old mare by Chippendale. Again, jumped some lovely rounds this week. Again, just come through a warm-up class straight into this, ready to go. And she's been very much aimed at this class all week. And for him, she's a horse that's moved him up into major championships, Europeans last year as well for Daniel.
Daniel's on fire this week.
He
won the 2-star Grand Prix yesterday.
Yeah, and he put another win in this morning as well.
Oh,
so he's been on terrific form from that point of view. On his Rotterdam Grand Prix winning combination. Just holding to get there at the vertical.
Daniel's one of those riders, if you see him in a show, most likely he's going to win class.
Choose a ride, I think, okay.
Rarely do you see him not winning class.
Start having a look around and go, hey, this is who I've got to beat. These are sort of a few of the marker riders, if you like. Really good through that triple. Time-wise is fine by the looks of it. As you say, not quite so easy. They get a little bit close into that double. You've just got to give yourself a little bit of space there as well.
Yeah, and I think he just did 6 down to this Oxer.
Yeah.
Landed on the right side and just continued going.
Time-wise, absolutely fine. Looking good for Daniel Coyle, and Legacy, yeah, keeps looking good. 76.8 as a time, and Daniel Coyle gives us clear rounds number one. His on fire run seems to continue, Eugenio.
Yeah, that one's so hard to beat in the jump off too. The mare's jumping great. Daniel's a good, fast rider, and he's on fire.
So your money's going that way.
Well, you never know, but yeah, I'll put my money on Daniel.
Just put it on the table now.
Yeah.
Just put it on the table now. I'll look after it for you, don't worry.
Yeah, don't tell Helios I said that.
Daniel Coyle, of course, rides for Crusaders. It is Caitlin Campbell to go next with our mentors. I know you've got to go and dash off. You've got lots of other riding to do. Eugenio, thank you. We'll see you over the next few days.
Thank you for having me. I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you very much for joining us. And Eugenio Garza will be obviously throughout the season. And, of course, we've got lots to come up over the next few riders. So, one clear in the bag with Daniel Coyle and Legacy so far. On we go with our next now with Caitlin Campbell and our Mentos based over here on the West Coast these days with the 11-year-old Oldenburg by Armitage for Caitlin. Lots of interesting questions as we've been discussing around this course so far. But another one looks as though they're going to be pulling up in here, I'm afraid. And there we go. Unfortunately, it is electing to retire there, Caitlin Campbell and Armentos. Just not quite working out for them. And again, early on in the round, just deciding that not to proceed any further. So Caitlin Campbell and Mentos head out. Daniel Coyle keeps at the one clear at this point. Toro Parada now, and also finishing well in our earlier class. This time back with Bacot, the 11-year-old at Sal Francais for the Mexican rider. Hannah Robson alongside me. She's got the stats on what Arturo's been up to, but I say it was good performance a little earlier on today.
Yes, very good performance earlier on today and a good run of form for this combination. This pair were third in the 5-star Grand Prix in our first week in Monterey. One of only 3 combinations to get through to the jump off there. But they've had a lot of good wins and a lot of good results around Mexico, Coapexpan, Guadalajara. And Arturo's been jumping this horse up to 4-star level around Europe so far this year. They've had 15 clears so far this year in international competition.
Oh, just stutters coming down that line, and he's doing it again. Go. Oh, leaves him on a longer one coming down to the Caladay vertical, but gets away with it. Now they want to get back into their rhythm if they're coming down to this double. He's just trying to get them back in the groove. Just not quite enough. Drops a toe on the back bar of the golden double. So it'll leave them just on the 4 faults. It's a good round overall, 79.4. A little bit of a stutter in the middle there, but keeps them at just 4 faults for Arturo, and Bacotza goes into 3rd place so far. So clear, a 1-time fault from Alexis Sokolov. Good round from her with Calcium to EBZ, just finishing on 1, and Arturo Parada in 3rd at this point. And Tres Palomas owns Ariel de la Serene for Kerry Potter now of the USA. 13-year-old Westphalian mare by Arioso di Tile. Another of the US riders joining us for this stage of the Major League Jumping Tour. Again, jumped with us a little bit earlier on as well. Kerry, good record here on the West Coast. Really moves up there to the Premier Equine fence. Handles the triple combination well.
She's actually jumped very well here at this exact venue in the past as well, particularly in the early part of this year and in the latter part of last year, doing well in 3 and 5 star level competitions. This horse is clear 43% of the time over fences of this height. That goes up to 50% over 160 fences.
Oh, and unfortunately just pulling those 2 parts away of the double. And the Major League, it was going well, just unfortunately just coming a little unraveled towards the end. Just looking for a good finish here. There we go, 12 it is, 81.73, Kerry Potter and Ariel La Sirène for the US rider. Will put her into 8th place at the moment on 12. Decent start, but that golden double just costing them, and again just getting stretched out over the Major League Oxer to have that one down as well. So total 12 for Kerry. 1 clear in the bag so far. This Whittier Trust $217,200 Major League Show Jumping Grand Prix this afternoon. Beautiful afternoon here in California. Sun shining down just into the early 70s. Lovely temperature. Perfect grounds. Great surroundings. Mountainous, stunning backdrop. What more could we want? An interesting jumping to watch as well, of course, thrown into the mix. Some top-class sport there. We've seen Daniel Cole as the only man to solve the Rubik's Cube of this course so far with Legacy, with the clear Alexis Sokolov on the 1-time fault, and Arturo Parada after that on the 4 fault. Still got some coming up that could change this around a lot. Yeah, we've got Lily Keenan to come, of course, Grand Prix a winner just a few weeks ago. Ashley Bond in there. Jordan Coyle, former winner here as well. That was on the surface last year. Dara Kenny, Tiffany Foster, Connor Swale, Niall Nassar to go down towards the final stages as well. Kristen van der Veen and Bull Runs Risen as the next to the lineup for the Bull Run Jumpers Incorporated of Florida. And that horse now 16 years of age is Dutch bred gelding by Utopia. Kristen van der Veen, twice World Cup final attendee. Bull Runs Risen, well used to these courses as well, not lacking in experience around the big tracks. Again, another one that just falls short, not keen down there. She gives the horse a pat, something they're not quite happy about. She's going to carry on for this track anyway. Easily through the triple combination.
This combination have had a good few top 10 finishes this year so far. In fact, 6 up to 5-star level. But she was 11th in the 5-star Grand Prix at Traverse City, the Fast 4. Interestingly, this horse has a 24% clear round rate at fences of 1.60 m. That drops down to 16% over this height, then goes back up to 45% over 150 fences.
She just even had to hold down the line to get the 5 down there, because Bull Runs Risen tends to be a fairly long striding horse, but unfortunately having the double down and decides that enough's enough. So putting a hand up there for Kristen van der Veen, and Bull Runs Risen takes a longer shot at that CP fence. And so Mark Kinslow, who's due to come up next, his horse just lost a shoe, we're just hearing, so he will come a little bit later on. In the meantime, we'll go to Jennifer Waxman and the Lost Lake Farms, Lavalino Teclomp. 11-year-old by Clearway, the Belgian-bred horse for Jen Waxman, who we've also seen before competing up at a host of shows, including Traverse City. And then over into Florida as well.
This horse is less experienced at this particular level. They have had some good clears at 1 meter 60 level, but he's only jumped 2 rounds at that level. More established to 1 meter 50, where this horse is 30% of the time clear and 40% of the time in the top 10. You know, a little bit more established, perhaps up to the 145 level. So interesting to see them now stepping up to these bigger fences.
Just crabbing a little down that line and has that back bar down of the middle part of the triple combination, as have several. You really got to reach out down there. The width on that 1 meter 65. Just gives the Calais vertical then a good bounce too. So on the 8 at the moment for General Maxim, as you say, not as much experience in these classes. Again, you know, getting the experience in these classes is harder as well. Not quite so many of them to go out on a regular basis. Great the Desert Horse Park here and Major League jumping, teaming up to set up this kind of level of jumping, especially now on a regular basis around the country.
Yeah, and so even with a few down, it's very much worth Jennifer getting to the end of the course to get that experience.
Yeah, finishes on 12 at 80.04 there, Jen Waxman and Lavalino Klomp for the US rider. Just as we see dropping short in the triple. And what we picked out a little bit earlier on to keep an eye on is Kyle King now. Kyle with the chess group's chess. We saw him in very good form a little bit earlier on into that winning round class as well, the class that he won a few weeks ago as well. He's been on the podiums in these Major League Grand Prix too. Went close down in Monterey in the big classes there too. And chess is now just getting more experience as a partnership now with this 11-year-old horse that's come through with a few different top riders and now in Kyle's stable.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with this combination. They're really forming the partnership still, and they have had some very good rounds, but the horse has obviously got the talent there. It's a big striding horse.
Yeah.
And obviously also ridden by Nick Delajoyo in the past. In fact, Nick rode this horse in our Vancouver leg, the first leg of Major League Show Jumping. Seems like a little while ago now. And he rode the horse for 9th place in the winning round competition. Kyle, of course, a really experienced competitor and doing so well with Etalon.
Gets down there easily on the 4, which again is a slightly longer distance up, but they're on the 5 between the second and third. Did that pretty easily as well. I was talking to him about this horse a little bit earlier in the week, and it is, I mean, ground cover, massive ground cover from that point of view. He really has to think about where he's going to plot it, but of course that's an advantage as well when you get into those big galloping jump offs. But again, when it gets a little bit tight, just got to be plotting their way around, and they've done a really good. It's a shame. Just touches one behind. They are really looking a smart partnership together. Just turns up tight down that line, and unfortunately has both of those down as well. Just for some of the last part of the course, just starting to unravel a bit as well, and now just gets the horse back. So wait, let's listen. And I think he just says, I think he might call it a day from that point. By the way, he's walking out there. Yeah, says I think we've done enough. So deciding to retire. Yeah, hands going up there for Kyle King and chess. So still with the one clear with Daniel Coyle in the legacy. One time fault for Alexis Sokolov. Arturo Parada in third at the moment on the 4 faults.
Fantastic round from Alexis to just have that one time penalty, and I mean just 0.12 of a second over. But of course that's obviously the rule, but great to see young riders doing so well in this Grand Prix as well.
Louis Keenan coming into view, Grand Prix winner in Monterey on that link one there in the big Grand Prix there. Chazanet Farms in New York, South Garden. By that spent a lot of time being produced down here. In fact, with Luis Sabino Gonzalez won some good classes and placed them down here last year before the horse moved. Whether it's a shadow or whatever, anyone's just taking a look back at it. The shadow off the wall as well. So that's another of the potential favourites saying no thank you very much. Unfortunately this time around, maybe a very different So just the one clear at the moment. I seem to remember us going down a similar line when we were jumping in Monterey back a few weeks ago, and then three came out the pack in the end.
And Lily was one of them.
Lily was one of them. She came out as the winner, alongside, of course, the likes of Eduardo de Menezes.
Yes. And Arturo Parada.
So Lily Keenan heads out the door. Again, the lovely orange, pinky hue across the mountains, a lovely light that you see and almost feel looking into the distance here, just with a little haze over them now, with a warm afternoon just amongst the palm trees. Just a few of the sites locally, just to give you a bit of geography. We're just down the road from the Empire Polo Grounds, where the Coachella Festival takes place in April. About 15-20 minutes from La Quinta, which is very famous for many things, sporting and leisure as well. Of course, the golf just up there too, where they hold the American Express tournament in January at PGA West up there as well. So the world's best heading there. Back into, well, just in about a month's time from that point of view. So lots of sporting occasions around here, not too far as well, about 20 minutes from Indian Wells, where they play the tennis, which is basically almost major level with that one of the top tournaments on the ATP Tour. So it's very much a sporting area here for competition. This is just one of the beautiful arenas here at the Desert Horse Park. We'll be over on the surface under the lights in the stadium next week as well for something a little bit different. In between, I think it's something like 14 arenas here in total. They've been, I can tell you, they've been very busy out there beyond our little oasis of the banks of the trees there. It's a busy showground down there, which is great for the organisers here, who are doing such a brilliant job of really renovating, reviving and restoring these grounds, giving it a new, fresh lease of life, and very definitely looking forward to the future. Lots of big plans here as well, which is great to see, and so lots to come up over the months and years. Our next one just about to make their way down, which is due to be Patricio Pascal and Serengott. Just a hold for a moment or two as they just finish off the arena maintenance over in the warm-up, and then they'll be heading in for us. A reminder at the moment, Daniel Coyle on the clear with Legacy, Alexis Sokolov and Kelsey at EBZ for the 21-year-old, who jumped a very good round for just that one time fault, and only by the fraction, 84.12. Her time allowed of 84. Arturo Parada, after a very good performance we saw back into Mexico as well with Bacot, just finishing on the 4 faults there for him. Bliss Hears also on the 4. Rest of them, it's been a tough day at the office for a few. A couple of 8s, 12s and a few retirements in there so far. Surprisingly few to lose out as well, which we expect to see big things from, including Kent Farrington and Lily Keenan. Carl King also moving out of the equation, as was Kristen van der Veen which was a little bit of a surprise. What have we got coming up? Let's take a look at who's coming, and that includes Ashley Bond, Garfield. We talked about that a little bit with Eugenio Garza earlier on. Derek Kenny, Volney de Boisdeville, Tiffany Foster, the Canadian Olympian with Hamilton, the world number 5, Connor Swale, Nadal Hero, and DB, all in that lineup to come into the final stages. And there's the final part of the list. It includes Canadian Olympian Amy Miller and Truman, Canadian World Championship rider Erin Ballard and Gakia, Olympian 2, Egyptian Nal Nasser, of course West Coast based as well with El Conda, and Australian, now US based, James Arkins, and Eurostar in there, the big jumping Kinky Boy with Juan Ortiz of Venezuela, and Luis Pedro Berben of Argentina, another major championship rider for Argentina, with Chaco Bumpy, and just making his way down. So they've just been finishing off the arena maintenance up in the warm-up, and in the meantime, Dan coming to get us back underway will be Mexico's Patricio Pascal and Seringa. One clear, one has solved the riddle so far, and can more do it? I'm sure we're going to get a few more into the game yet. We will see. But here we go with Seringat, 16 years of age now by Chef Rouge. And in fact, we're just going to make a little change around because this is looking like Mark Kinsella, I think, who was due to go a little bit earlier on with Quality H. If you remember, the horse lost a shoe, had to have a shoe put on. And so we're just moving back to Mark with this 11-year-old Hanoverian by Quaid, Hannah.
Yes, this is a horse that he's had the ride on since June of this year. The horse was previously ridden by Ben Asselin, Canadian rider, and by Nikolai Heinroos earlier than that, Danish rider. It's had a few good clears with this horse so far this year. He performed well at Spruce Meadows in a 5-star jump-off class with this horse, but we've seen this in a few of our 5-star Grand Prix, and they're just really coming together at this level, quite established down at the slightly lower levels, but now really coming together at the slightly higher level in these more competitive fields.
Another one to fall foul of the back bar of the triple combination. 165 there into that middle oxer. 155 on the way out. And again, if there's any lacking in energy through the middle of it, it's unfortunately going to be going to the floor. Leaves a toe on 9. Just getting a rolling rhythm down to the Caladay vertical. Holding at the 12 at the moment. Oh, and taking the last with them as well. So it's going to be a score of 16, 80.15, 16 for Mark Kinsella and Quality H. Again, pairing together that haven't had as much experience as a partnership over these big tracks. So again, gives them a good spin around here. And again, the nice thing is with 2 weeks of competition here at the Desert Horse Park, although it's going to be different scenery, mountains are going to stay in the same place, but we're going to move down to the other end of the property under the lights. You won't see the mountains with us next week because it'll be a wonderful cloak of darkness behind, but it'll be center stage under the spotlights. But Mark there finishing off on the 16 with Quality H. But again, like I say, gives them another shot next week to get in some big classes, pick your way through, and there's a good opportunity with a host of big money classes throughout week 2 here at the Desert International Horse Park as well.
Trust is a state charter wealth management company with a proven track record in serving families.
And just on the horizon is going to be Patricio Pascal and Seringat. So I say just all back in the groove now. Hugely experienced rider indeed, championship rider for Mexico before now. And experienced horse with a number of top international riders, and most recent going into the hands of Patricio. Just has a little look at the wall there. You can see there's shadows. And again, with the way that the light is dropping, you're getting some light through, some not. And again, we still like with the Lily's horse, having a good look there. Whether they see, how much they see of that, I'm not so sure. But that is life, that is nature. Yeah. Yeah, just a little quick into that triple combination. Has the first part down. It's still looking good otherwise. Confidently down the line of 9 to 10, as you said. It's basically a 5 forward stride there. You've got to be pressing the accelerator down there, and this fence just catches so many. And it's interesting because it's you've got space to get to it. You're not linked on a related line to it. You can loop back to it, but as even Eugenio was saying, a little bit harder to see as well. But just not getting the shots to it. And again, as they get into the latter part of the course, just a few more fences falling. Finishing on 16 now, 80.42. Long track there with 14 fences in all. What is it? 17 jumping efforts all around this track off this surface is absolutely perfect. Eugenio wasn't kidding when you walk across this, and it is just feels like a natural cushion. It's exactly what turf should feel like. They've done a great job here, Steve Hankin and the team behind the scenes that have produced this arena, but all of the partners and those involved in the Desert Horse Park that have put so much into this, and as they keep saying, barely beginning really. Done great job so far, but a lot more to come here. Sean Jobin, Darius for the Foxridge Farm Stables, the 14-year-old by warrant for the Canadian. Again, his first year really coming into these big classes on a regular basis, and as I said, been a good one for him to be able to gauge and step up in. Gets the 5 down there nicely. And just get straight. Gives you about 3 strides to get to that. He just lost a little bit of momentum on the turn. Still good. Time-wise, might run a little bit close. 84, remember, time allowed. Might just be enough, though. And it's going to be 82.66. And to what roars and cheers from down below our commentary box, it is clear round number 2, Sean Jobin And Darius will produce a 0 score alongside Daniel Coyle and Legacy as the 2 zeros so far of this Whittier Trust Grand Prix. Beaming Sean Jobin. And Darius, one of his best results so far. And cool and calm behind the glasses is Ashley Bodnam. And Ashley originally hailing here from California. This is for Stahlhorn and the Aurora Farm, so teamed up with Hans Horn. And this is Garfield. And looked a really exciting horse. A new one into her string as well. It's headed over to her to compete. And looked very nice indeed earlier on this season. It's a well-established horse at 11 years of age. It's a Dutch bred gelding by Chelthago Z. Watched it a little bit earlier this week, and this could be, well, it is going to be their first big test together. Just doesn't quite make the distance there, but it is a big arse down that line. She's holding down that line to the Caladay vertical. Talked about 5 forward, very, very tight 6, which it can be if you are so inclined, but just on the 4 at the moment. Ashley, winner of the Grand Prix in Monterey, as we mentioned with Donatello just a few weeks ago. On the Rolex Grand Prix in Wellington, Florida earlier on this year on Carolina Bullmore. And I think overall is going to be happy with this round from that point of view. It's a shame to have a fence down, but again, seeing a smile come across her face, that's their first big test together. And just on the 4 faults there, and really at a key part of the course that's fallen for so many of them as well. Yeah, lots to see there, lots coming up for Ashley Bond and Garfield. Yeah, it is on to Jordan Coyle next, and Ariso Grand Prix winners here last year under the lights as well. And with Ariso, the 11-year-old for the Alan Farm of New Jersey, Swedish-bred horse by Casal. Also saw them win on the turf up in Vancouver at the lovely Thunderbird Show Park there as well. Now, interesting, just a little turn back to the first. That's an interesting way of going. Didn't have quite the warm-ups they wanted earlier on this week, so we'll see how they go here. Just gets right into the bottom of the fence, and then he just lets the horse come up. Just unfortunately having one down that triple, just not quite between each other, connecting around that corner. It's just starting to come apart from there, and Jordan trying to get them back on the corner there, get them quiet again. There we go, that's better. Better run at the last, finishing on a score of 12.80.94 for Jordan Coyle this time with Ariso. He gets high at the triple, doesn't make the width though, unfortunately. 2 meter stretch across there. Paul O'Shea now has been another man of the moment. Emerald van Voorhof for the Emerald Partners, and to Question Farms, the 14-year-old by Emerald. Paul, of course, riding the winning round once again in the team competition yesterday. For those that were following, I say, of course, where were you if you weren't there? And where are you going to be next week, next Thursday? Because you can be watching that into the evening there. So I think it's 6 o'clock kickoff local time there, so it's sort of 9 o'clock East Coast from that point of view. So you can settle in for short, sharp, exciting finish to the season with the final there under lights. Paul O'Shea then with Emerald. Horse that he's taken into host of Grand Prix. Paul, of course, who's ridden right the way through to World Championships for Ireland. Another one. Stuart. Yeah, and it's just the the balance. You've got to have the vertical at the front, and just so much power in the middle, and just finding the pace balance there. Just some of them just not quite able to make it across there. But and again, getting stretched out by the previous line. So on the 4 for Paul. Paul is still potentially the money though with the 4 faults if they can stay there, because 4 takes you down to 6th place at the moment in this Whittier Trust Grand Prix this afternoon. Just the 2 clears at the moment. And it will be just at the 4, 76.54 into 4th place so far for Paul O'Shea. So he's fastest of the 4s as well. So Ashley Bond down into 7th, Paul O'Shea into 4th. Alexis Sokolov on that 1 time fault in 3rd at the moment. Sean Jobin and Daniel Coyle are the 2 to go head-to-head still at this point of the Grand Prix at the moment into that jump-off. But there might be a few more that will poke their head above the parapet yet. One that could well do is Margie Engel and Dikas. The Gladewind Partners of Florida, 13-year-old gelding by Diorado. Multiple Grand Prix wins behind them, and with all the form and ability. All reach, no. Sorry, and the last part. Ooh, just steadies up, but no. Going to finish on a score with time to add in as well of 22, I'm afraid, 89.9. 22 for Margie Goldstein Engel there, and Dikas. So big names going by the wayside, surprisingly, so far. Yeah, just made a move, a little move across going into the triple combination. Just makes it wide going in there into the middle part. And then last part just dropping with them as well. Dara Kenny, door is open for him now with Teddy Vlock's Volney de Boisdeville. Dara, of course, a regular through the world's top 20 through his career, and multiple 5-star wins throughout, whether it's in Florida or over in Europe. And Darren now aboard this 13-year-old Frenchman horse by Winning Mood. Looking to join fellow Irishman Daniel Coyle into the jump-off.
Yeah, again, this is a combination who have been really successful in recent years and been very, very good this year as well. Dara's jumped Volney de Bois de Ville in so many top-level Grand Prix this year. Had 2 4-star wins in Florida, one being 1m60 class. Also had 2 5-star wins in Rome in the summer, both over fences of 1m55. And then in September he was 3rd in a 155 class in New York at 5-star level. And he was also 2nd in the Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Monaco.
Just on the foot, didn't quite see, well, I think that was over at the Palms, but it's going to add another fence there as well. Set fence 9. It was looking pretty good otherwise, but just easily dropping a rail. Again, it doesn't take much here this afternoon to see a pole on the floor. And there on a total of 873.83, it's 8 there for Dara Kenny and Volney de Bois de Ville. So puts him into 8th place at the moment. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, it wasn't much, but just clips down on the top of it. So Dara Kenny, not to be for him, still 2 clears. Another championship rider, Olympic rider, Tiffany Foster, and the Hamilton groups. Hamilton. 11-year-old Holstein by Quadros 3 with her bases in Florida and also up, of course, from home ground up near Thunderbird in Vancouver. Also, of course, leading into World Championships, competing over in Europe as she does on a regular basis too. Member of the global travelling group.
Yeah, she did really well in the 5-star Grand Prix at the Nations Cup week in Vancouver earlier on this year and placed 4th in that Grand Prix. She was also 5th in a 5-star Grand Prix at Spruce Meadows in September.
Big jumps high there at the wall.
Got quite a pace up through there as well, steadying a bit now.
Good through the triple combination. Got this well worked out so far.
This combination are in the top 10 31% of the time over fences of this height.
Just taking care at the Caladay vertical. Still on the clear at the moment for Tiffany. Just getting closer. Keep ticking off those difficult fences. And just backs up a little bit into that major league fence. Still should put them in some good prize money if they clear the last, which they'll do in this Whittier Trust Grand Prix. Just on the 4, 80.80. 4 there into 7th place for Tiffany Foster and Hamilton. Still a good round, but just the feet behind at the Major League Oxford for them, so they will finish on the 4.
I mean, we only have 5 riders who are on a score of 4, so actually it's a fairly
Yeah,
respectable score here.
Takes you down to 8th place. So Tiffany Foster into 7th of the 4 Volters. Paul O'Shea, the best of them, in 4th place at this point with Emerald van Voorhof. So he's in 4th. Alexis Sokolov's around with the one-time fault, looking better and better all the time. She's in 3rd on that one time, although I'm sure she would be like to be taking a spin at the jump-off as well. Sean Jobin and Daniel Coyle will have a run at the jump-off yet. And looking to try and join them is world number 5. Connor Swale, Nadal, Hero and DB, the 9-year-old for the Manon Farm by Cannon. I can list his wins, but he'll have finished and gone and will be 3 horses in by the time I finish. But and all suffice to say, to be world number 5, you've got to be having a very, very good year. Yeah. The likes of he and likes of Julien Epillard over in Europe as well, the Frenchman who just keep picking off class after class after class.
Class after class, and with a range of different horses that are very well managed as well. This horse, though, is one that Connor picked up the ride on this year. It was previously with James Peters of Belgium. But yeah, more, you know, they've had some very good results together, but more recently they've done well at Spruce Meadows. They were actually 4 times in the top 10 at Spruce Meadows, including a 2nd place and a 5th place in some 5-star jump-off classes. And since May of this year, Connor's had this horse in the top 10 12 times. A pretty good strike rate.
Just a moment holding the breath through the triple combination. Again, looking to be very deliberate around here. Sent out Alexis Sokolov a little bit earlier on. Has traded to her and she produced the clear. He's now got to follow his own path to tap there at the golden and white double. Still keeps his head above water at the moment. The last fence hasn't caused too much trouble. He moves up to it, and that'll be good at 81.15. So 2 for Ireland, 1 for Canada in the jump-off so far. Sean Jobin sandwiched between Daniel Coyle and Connor Swale. Knows he's in for a tough tussle when it comes into that final round yet. So Daniel Coyle will lead off. Sean Jobin in the middle. Connor Swale now gives us our 3rd clear round as we come into the latter stages here. Not too many on the board for that. Really interesting track here this afternoon as we go on to Luis Pedro Birben. A little look back at Connor Swale there for a moment as we see Luis with Chaco Bumpy, his championship ride as well for the Argentinian rider. Nations Cup rider 2 for Argentina. "12 years of age now, this horse by Chaco Blue, as you'd have probably guessed from the name. Out of a mare called Too Bumpy. So no prizes for guessing how they came up with the name. 0 prizes.
Luis, as you say, is such an experienced competitor. 3 championships to his name. And 2 medals, in fact, a team silver and a team bronze from the Pan American and South American Games.
Of course, it's going to be a big year next year for those nations part of the Pan Am Games looking to qualify for the Olympics in Paris. Those games next year in Santiago, coming into end of October, November.
This pair had a very good 7th place finish in a 5-star Grand Prix at Saugerties in September. Also won a 3-star Grand Prix in Lexington earlier on this year as well. Very quickly round this turn. Needs to get the balance back.
Ooh, hold. No, and he was just always just trying to hold them off those fences. It would just run out of luck, space. The course caught up with them in the end, whichever way you wanted to dress it up. But unfortunately, those last few coming down for them. And so it will put them at a total of 12, 77-18 for Luis Pedro Birben and Chaco Bumpy on the 12 for them. And so, money-wise, top 12 still sees Natalie Dean in there on the 8 faults at the moment with a Kota M. 3 clears, 1-on-1 time faults. Then the 4 faulters going all the way down to 9th place with Ashley Bond in 9th place now. Juan Ortiz of Venezuela. Blue Trim LLC's Kinky Boy, Van Het Gildenhof to give the full name. Kinky Boy for short. 12-year-old Belgian bred by Nabab Derev. So Juan Ortiz, again, been a regular now on the Major League Tour throughout 2022.
And a regular in the 5-star Grand Prix, especially with Kinky Boy. And they have really been getting stronger and stronger together. But what a shame. And to say again, not necessarily the easiest horse to pilot and to get the turns on, because it's such a big horse and a big striding horse.
One getting them going again. One of those riders will be aiming at those Pan Ams as well next year.
It's really the sort of arena that suits this horse a little bit better. But again, Juan's managing this very well.
Yeah, just says, I think we've done enough. Tips the hat. There's a knee injury to battle with as well, but unfortunately just makes a move out there in the triple combination, and unfortunately decides to call it a day there at retirement for Juan Ortiz of Venezuela and Kinky Boy. Taking us into our final few, 5 left to come in the first round of this Whittier Trust 5-star Grand Prix here this afternoon. Might be evening wherever you are. And 3 clears at this stage. Connor Swale, Sean Jobin and Daniel Coyle. Cassia Rivetti, Amy Miller, Arian Ballard, Nal Nasser and James Arkin still to come. Chattanooga for Cassia Rivetti. A new ride for him as well. It's 12-year-old Oldenburg by Cornet's Prince. But another brilliant championship Brazilian rider. Again, spending his time based here on the west coast of the US now. A chunk of his time anyway. Just makes the move across and has the back bar down, or has the first part down of the triple, now the back bar of the Cabana Coast. Again, these two wouldn't have done much together either. No, exactly. The horse has been competed more extensively to a high level by Angelica August and Zanatelli actually in the past, and with Laura Heiter as well, American rider, and both of those riders have had this horse on the podium up to 3-star level. The horse actually has very few starts on the record at 1.55 m. They're 10% of the time clear at 145 fences, but 52% clear at 1.40 m fences. So I'm sure this is a really good educational round for the horse to be stepping up to this height. Just one to go. Yeah, clips that front rail again. Well, finished on a score of 16 there, 80.08 there for Cassia Rivetti and Chattanooga. Amy Miller now, Canadian Olympian 2016 in Rio. Amy with Truman for the Millarbrook Farm in Overland. Of course, part of the famous Miller family with Ian ahead of it, of course, but also walking the course with Gail Greenough a little bit earlier on, the 86 world champion helping her along this week.
This is a lovely partnership to watch, I think, because Amy, has developed this horse from a young horse all the way through, as you say, to World Championships performances. She also jumped this horse in the Rolex Grand Prix of Rome and La Baule this year, and also jumped in the Nations Cup in Rome as well.
Yeah, building up there in preparation for Herning for those championships in Denmark, the World Championships there. It went off so fantastically.
She was also 10th in our 5-star Grand Prix in Ottawa with Truman.
Yeah, it's had a little bit of a breakaway from the tour as well, which is,
Yeah.
She's coming fresh for these California stages.
Yes, I think we last saw her in Traverse City in September.
And there we will produce a clear. She's fresh and ready to go. 78.42. Amy Miller and Truman will give us clear round number 4 of this Whittier Trust Grand Prix. And staying with those Canadian World Championship riders, Erin Ballard and Gakia for the Esperanza Imports, the 11-year-old Dutch Red Mare by Spartacus. And for this World Championship combination, looking to join teammate Amy Miller. It's been a very much Irish-Canadian affair. 2 for Ireland, 2 for Canada so far.
I was just going to say, teammates from those World Championships. Gakia is such an experienced horse as well. And once again, Erin's competed this horse in so many top-level Grand Prix this year, in New York in September, in Rome in May as well, also Miami Beach in April as well. They were 10th in our 5-star Major League Grand Prix in Monterey as well. What a shame.
Oh, and that's gone. Just last fence 2, one of the very few to have that down. Going to finish on the 8 falls there at 79.66. 8 falls there for Erin Ballard and Gakia for the Canadian. And so will that just put them in the money? Just puts them outside of it, in fact, into 13th place for Erin. Coming into our final couple, Nasa into view with the Evergate Stables El Conde. Very good combination this year, getting more exposure into the Grand Prix now as well. And Egypt's now Nassar, of course, based in America. Spent a lot of time winning here on the West Coast as well. World Championship rider this year too in Herning.
Yeah, again, this is a horse that Niall has ridden in so many top-level competitions, and he's had a lot of podium finishes, actually, as well. He had a win and a third-place finish at the Royal Winter Fair in Toronto, both at 5-star level. Also was second in the 5-star Grand Prix of New York in September, third in a 5-star class in Dublin, also won a 5-star meter 50 class in Aachen earlier this year. And this combination are in the top 10, 33% of the time over fences of this height, 1.55 meters, and they're clear 35% of the time as well. So
down on the 7, keeps moving down that triple combination well. Whoa, thought it was going to stay. Just breezes on the top of that vertical. If you can keep it on the 4, he's still in the money as well.
it's quite good on the clock here.
And so just going to finish on the 4, 77.83. And so now Nasser going into 7th place overall with El Conde. So he will go into 7th. Still going to be in the money with that one. Second fastest for Falter. 4 of those on a clear at the moment with Daniel Coyle, Sean Jobin, Connor Swale, and Amy Miller. Maximum we can have is 5 because we've only got 1 left. And that is going to be for Australia. James Arkins. James with Eurostar 1. The Australian who made the move over here to the United States, competed at the World Championships this year. That was part of the aim of doing that. Competed in the likes of the Nations Cup up in Vancouver earlier on this year as well. Won World Cups out in Australia too, but then making the move up, which they're going to need to for the Team Australia to be a part and work as a team, get the shows they need, because they just don't have as high level shows in Australia on a regular basis. And James on this very good horse that he rode at the World Championships with Eurostar.
Yeah, we've got several World Championships combinations in this competition, and it's just interesting to see how they all tackle this. This, of course, being our last. This combination are in the top 10 over fences of 1.55 meters, 40% of the time. They're also 3rd in a 5-star Grand Prix at Vancouver earlier on in the year. What a shame.
So guaranteed it's going to be 4 into the jump off. 2 for Ireland, 2 for Canada.
James again getting a bit more of a pace up by the looks of him, knowing that a fast 4 could be very valuable to him.
Yeah, a little bit of a late one in the course to really make a difference, but it's actually a good paced round. He goes into 7th place, so pushes now Nasser down 1 into 8th place as a final finishing spot. 76.61 for James Arkins, and Eurostar for the Australians. 7th spot overall. So there's 4 to return for the jump off. I'll let you know what the rest look like. In 5th place, Alexis Sokolov and Kalsiet EBZ. 6th place to Paul O'Shea and Emerald van Voorhoff. 7th place to James Arkins and Eurostar. And 8th to Nal Nassar and El Conde. 9th to Arturo Parada. 10th to Bliss. He has completed the top 12 with Tiffany Foster and Ashley Bond. Those are the 4 going into the jump off. Daniel Coyle and Legacy. Sean Jobin and Darius. Connor Swale, Nadal Hero, and Amy Miller and Truman. That looks good. Whether you're Canadian or Irish, it's 2 to pick from. Good luck to the rest of them, and it is going to be a real battle, I think, here to take this one home. So, concluding part to come up for this Whittier Trust Grand Prix this afternoon here at the Desert Horse Park. Just going to be a few minutes before we get into that jump off. Coyle, Jobin, Swale and Miller to go for the number 1 spot.
Equestrian, the #1 choice for footing products. Premier Equestrian, footing products that improve performance. Premier Equestrian, footing products for cushion and stability. Call 800-611-6109 or visit premierequestrian.com.
Well, we look across the arena and ready for the jump off upcoming. And Sean Course is over fence 2, the CP fence. Back to fence 16, which was fence 5, 16 as it's put now. That's going to be a vertical this time around, so that's changed around to the Major League fence from there. From 16 down to 6B and C, so 2 parts of that dreaded triple combination. First part has been taken away now. It's just the Oxer on the way in and the vertical on the way out. Turn back to the butterflies at fence 9. Major League fence then after that, taking up the arena, so looping back round to the Major League fence at 12 at the Oxer there. And Marsh and Sterling vertical at fence 13 and 14 being the Whittier Truss fence at the last. So that is the course for the jump off. 4 of them will go for the money here. Daniel Coyle, Legacy, Sean Jobin and Darius Connorswale, Nadal Hero and Amy Miller and Truman. So getting ready for this culmination of week 1 here in Thermal. And let's take a look. It's Daniel Coyle to start us off with Legacy. Sean Jobin of Canada to go second with Darius Connorswale, the world number 5. Goes third with the Irishman in third spot with Nadal Hero. And Amy Miller of Canada with Truman, the World Championship riding combination, to take a run there as the 4th of the lineup for the jump off. So an exciting lineup there to get your teeth into, especially if you support Ireland or Canada. And for the others, well, you've got some top jumping to watch as you go. So fences 2, 16, 6BC, 9, 12, 13 and 14 in the jump off for this class. A reminder next week of how it works. Night classes. We're not going to be on the grass. We're going to be over in the stadium. And so it is going to be then, from that point of view, Thursday, yes, I did say Thursday, with the team competition getting underway, I think 6 o'clock local time for that. And then into later on the week, Saturday night for the Grand Prix there. $450,000 in the prize fund for the Grand Prix there, for that big AA Grand Prix here to complete the season as well for Major League Jumping too. So that's going to be a good conclusion to everything that's been built up throughout 2022. But here, a lovely setting for the events here in California. And say then very swiftly into next week with classes getting underway on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will be a big jump-off class, and Saturday an even bigger jump-off class with the Grand Prix to come there. So looking forward to all of that.
next are Major League show jumping signature bets. Onto right here. Right-hand turn to Marshall Sterling Insurance signature bets. Bets number 13 and 14.
Team just putting the finishing touches to the course, designed by Michel Valancourt this week, assisted by Peter Grant of Canada. I think next week it's Alan Wade, our lead course designer, over in the stadium. Time allowed of 49 seconds in the jump off, though I don't think that is going to be something too much under consideration. This arena looking absolutely stunning, literally put down last year, ready for the final stages of Major League Jumping at the end of 2021, and was well established last year, but now looks even better still. Just beautifully presented for the events here.
Since 1935, with steadfast guidance through multiple generations, Whittier Trust has built success in the business of wealth management and has grown into the preeminent multi-family office headquartered on the West Coast. And we're just going to wait for the green light from Michel Valancourt. And we do have the green light from Michel Valancourt ready for the jump off. Again, our jump off starting at fence number 2, right-hand turn on fence number 16.
So there's the 4 going into the jump off. And our first one riding in is World and European Championship riding combination. Daniel Coyle and Legacy for Ariel Grange, the 12-year-old. Daniel, as we said, has been in hot form with a couple of wins already this week and comes in with confidence to take on this big competition. Won in Rotterdam earlier on this year in the Grand Prix there, as well as part of the Nations Cup show. And can they do it again here? Shadows lengthen. Beautiful temperature at the moment. Still just early afternoon, 2:30 local time. So Daniel Coyle, CP fence. Back to what's now a vertical. Oh, gave that a really testing roll. Still there, moves away from that double in 13 seconds. Back across the center of the butterflies. This is where they twist and turn. What another tap there. Gets away with it. Rides the luck there. Legacy giving it a great shot here. Daniel encouraging them down to the last. A real push down to the finish. Scrubs over the line at clear 35-13. Daniel Coyle and Legacy. Is it going to be enough? 35-13 for them. Couple of chances in there that just paid off in the end. Luck may be on the side. Daniel Coyle sets a good standard, 35-13 with Legacy. So remember, we've got 2 for Ireland, 2 for Canada in the jump-off here this afternoon. $217,000 just over in the prize fund of this Whittier Trust Grand Prix. Taking us on to Sean Jobin now. This one of their biggest moments so far. The Foxridge Farm Stables 14-year-old Darius. Daniel Coyle setting quite the standard so far. Those, though, they've still got Connor Swale in there as well, who's so good at those, especially this type of winding course. But Sean Jobin could put them under pressure yet. Paul just keeps putting his head up. Sean working with it. Again, just loses a little bit of concentration and time as you go. Good at the fence, not as fast as Daniel. But just looking to get home with a nice double clear and put him in some good prize money this afternoon for Sean Jobin. And there they will be home in 43.68. Daniel Coyle was home in 35.13, so an 8-second deficit between the two. But Sean Jobin been playing it sensibly That's one of their biggest runs so far. Gets home with a nice double clear for them to sit in second place. Connor Swale, the world number 5. Nadal hero. A 9-year-old, but showing plenty of experience. Down under the shades. Calculations going for the Irishman. This is where he can really excel. He's got to beat his fellow Irish compatriots in Daniel Coyle if he's going to get to the number 1 spot here. Good turn back, just gives a little click and a go. Just needs the care coming through the double, gets clear of there in, what, 16, 17 seconds. Keeping this turn back smooth, that will be key. I don't think he's going to be faster than Daniel. He's not going to be faster than Daniel. There's too much ground to cover. It's still going to be a nice round from Connor Swale. And Nadal here, he's going to get home in 38-33, but he leaves the door open with Daniel Coyle staying in the leading spot on 35-13. Stays some 3 and a bit seconds ahead. So Connor Swale second, Sean Jobin in third, and just leaving Amy Miller on the start list for the Canadian rider, with Truman to take a shot at Coyle. Canadian Olympian World Championship rider Amy Miller. Now, can she? She's going to have some really sharp turns to get close. We saw there Connor Swale giving it a good effort, but just he was still 3 seconds back. And Daniel Coyle was such a chase down to the last. Amy pushing into the double, gets away from there in 14 seconds. She's got to keep really pushing here. So it's going to go Daniel Coyle's way. Oh, and not right for the next, I'm afraid. So takes a turn away. Daniel Coyle winning in convincing style. And we'll round off the competition there, finishing on the 8, 47.74, 8 there for Amy Miller and Truman. So it's a win for Daniel Coyle and legacy for Ariel Grange this afternoon here in the Whittier Trust Grand Prix. Congratulations to them. Amy Miller giving it a good shot, but just doesn't work out there. And then, of course, not quite right for the next. So that puts pay to all of that. And we'll see Daniel Coyle, what has been a terrific week for them. I think 3 wins for him here this week. He will top this Whittier Trust Grand Prix. Connor Swale second with Nadal hero. Sean Jobin in the end in third with the double clear there with Darius. Amy Miller with a couple down in the jump. Well, 1 down and 1 stop in the jump off a circle there. Puts them onto the 8. Alexis Sokolov, super round from her, just jumps round for the 1 time fault with Kelsey at EBZ. Paul O'Shea in 6th, and 7th James Arkins from the first round with Eurostar, and Nal Nasser finishing in 8th with El Conde, just with the 1 fence down. Presentation coming up. Also going to take another look at that winning round as well. But Daniel Coyle is our number 1. As a reminder, next week, Saturday night, coming up, it is going to be the 5-star Grand Prix here, and also Thursday for the team event. Let's take a look at the winning rides here of Daniel Coyle. Just so efficient, but just a couple of, there was one of them, just a roll of the pole, and now really chases down into this double. He's got real foot speed going at the moment. Accelerates away. Really good angle at the vertical, at the butterflies. Another little tap there that just rolls in the cups. When you're on form, they stay. And he convincingly chases to the last to be well ahead of the rest. He was over 3 seconds ahead to his closest rival. And there, Daniel Coyle gets the win at 35-13 with the lovely Mare Legacy, and ticks off another big win for this pair and for an Ariel Grange. Congratulations to them. Going to catch up with Daniel as well in just a moment. And as I say, the final stage coming up next week of Major League Jumping 2. Those are the combinations to complete our top 20 down the line. And going to catch up in a moment with our winning rider, with success for Daniel Coyle and Legacy here this afternoon. Congratulations to them.
Well, Daniel, congratulations. You have had a brilliant week here. This is your third international win here of the week. What's going on with you this week?
Usually I take a break this time of year, so I figured if I'm going to keep going to shows, I might as well try and do my best.
And you very much did today. You were the fastest in that jump off by a mile, and you really went for it.
Yeah, actually in Washington, maybe a month ago, I was first to go in the jump off. And I left a little bit out there, and I had a fence down by not trying enough. I wasn't going to do that today. Legacy also, her last class was the 5-star in Toronto, and she won that. So she's been an incredible mare for me, and I know her well in the jump off. I had walked the first round already a little bit to jump off, and thought there's a few places I can take risks, and if they beat me, they deserve to.
And looking at the field that you've just won against, you know, you've had some fantastic riders in there, but you yourself have been very on form. Did you come here with some confidence?
Yeah, I suppose confidence is always good in any rider. It doesn't matter what level you're at the smallest level or at the biggest level. I have a few more horses now, so I can be in more classes. It's really unique and a huge advantage to be able to do the 2-star here with some younger horses as well, and horses you're developing. So, yeah, I like the Major League.
And the other day you commented on the ground here. This arena's been great, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's my first time here. I for sure will come back. The footing in the grass ring has been phenomenal. Even the first day, obviously first day anywhere, nobody knows what way it's going to go. But for me, it's a very good ring.
Well, huge congratulations. We'll let you enjoy your celebrations.
Thank you.
Well, off to celebrate, and congratulations to Daniel. Celebrations coming up with our presentation to our winning rider. Well done to Daniel Coyle. And upcoming is the festivities to complete our class.
For Canada in third, Cordarius fourth, A.B. Miller and Truman for Canada, as it was the Battle of Canada versus Ireland in our jump-off. That winning time, that was 35.13 seconds. show jumping. What a great day of show jumping in the beautiful grass stadium. We're going to bring our top three back in the ring for these presentations. Anika and Devin Wickie joining us for these presentations on behalf of Whittier Trust.
And heading in for the presentation for this Whittier Trust Grand Prix. Congratulations to our top three. In third there, walking in, is Sean Jobin and Darius for Canada and the Foxridge Farms.
Joining us for these presentations once again on behalf of Whittier Trust. Since their founding in 1935, Whittier Trust has lived their mission of putting a client's needs first, modeling service excellence from the top down. They focus on their clients' wide range of personal, family, and business needs.
And coming in there into second spot, Connor Swale. Good result for him regardless with Nadal Hero.
And second place, that went to Connor Swale and Nadal Hero and DB.
And so with an Irish top two.
Take home top honors and that brand new cooler
And brilliantly done. The redhead streak of fire around the course. Brilliantly done for Daniel Coyle. One win again behind him. And, of course, the fabulous legacy for Ariel Grange. Wonderful stuff to claim the Whittier Trust Grand Prix here this afternoon.
Major League Show Jumping Grand Prix. And those riders just hopping off their mounts, as we will have them join us on the podium in just a second. And once again, great thanks to Whittier Trust, wonderful sponsor of the 2022 Desert Holiday Series and also the Desert International Horse Barn. Our rider in third place, that is that Canadian rider just stepping onto the platform. That is Sean Jobin.
Getting congratulations from our sponsors. Our thanks to Whittier Trust, the sponsors here of several of our major classes here this week, and presenting to the man in third there, Sean Jobin of Canada, and Darius, joined by Steve Hankin and Cian White. Steve from the Desert Horse Park and Cian, co-founder of Major League Jumping. Connor Swale there getting his congratulations in second with Nadal Hero.
There is Daniel Coyle. Daniel Coyle, what a great rider, what a phenomenal rider for Ireland.
And Daniel Coyle, top of the podium. Well done to the Irishman.
Get everybody in place and the win photograph taken with first, second, third, Daniel Coyle with the win, Connor Swale in second, Sean Jobin in third. So Ireland, and Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to honor our champion, I would ask you to please all rise for the playing of the national anthem of Ireland. got to say, Ireland so impressive out here on the grass. Daniel Coyle and Legacy, they do have the win.
Well, champagne time and time to pop the cork. And Daniel just a bit slow. Connor Swale may have been second, but he was the fastest off the draw there. But gets a good soaking for our top three. Congratulations to them, to Sean Jobin, to Connor Swale, and winner Daniel Coyle and Legacy.
Daniel Coyle, Connor Swale, Sean Jobin, top three, gold, silver, and bronze right there from the Whittier Trust, our Major League Show Jumping Grand Prix. So, riders, we're going to get you back on your horses. Whittier Trust is the oldest and largest multi-family office headquartered on the West Coast, from investments to family office to trustee services and more.
Well, concludes the competitions here this week. As I say, we're back in literally just a few days' time, kicking off on Wednesday. It'll be Wednesday through to Saturday, culminating in the Grand Prix on Saturday night. In the meantime, another of the major highlights, of course, is the climax of the Major League Show Jumping Tour on Thursday night, so join us for that as well. But off on the victory gallop for today's Grand Prix. It is very well done to Daniel Coyle and Ariel Grange's Legacy that bring home under the mountain backdrop these wonderful lengthening shadow skies. It is congratulations to Daniel Coyle, who lifts the trophy here with Legacy for the Whittier Trust Grand Prix here at the Desert Horse Park. Well done to them. We will see you all very, very soon. In the meantime, it's an Irish one to Canada in third. The flags will keep on flying, and we will be flying into another big week in just a few days' time.
Great winning combination, Daniel Coyle and Legacy. First in the jump-off round, he set down a time that could not be caught. And Daniel Coyle coming out on top with another win for Ireland. And on behalf of the Desert International Horse Park Major League Show Jumping and all of our wonderful sponsors, thank you so much for joining us. The 2022 Desert Holiday, week number 1, week number 2. We'll move back to the Grand Prix Stadium next week. And that'll be for more Major League Show Jumping excitement. Have a wonderful rest of this Sunday, and we'll see you next week.
We have a new